Gaslighting. This tactic involves manipulating someone's trust in their own memory and cognitive abilities so that they begin to think something is wrong with them, or even that they're mentally ill. For example, imagine two people living in the same house, and one of them is a manipulator. When they both leave the house, the manipulator makes sure to leave after the other person, then secretly returns to unlock the door and leave it open. Later, they tell the other person, "Why did you leave the door open?" The victim is confused because they're sure they closed the door. They might dismiss it the first time, but as the manipulator repeats this trick in different scenarios, the victim starts to doubt themselves. The manipulator may say things like, "You've been forgetting things a lot lately," or "There must be something wrong with you." Over time, the victim begins to believe it. Guilt tripping. This strategy plays on one of the deepest human fears, guilt. The manipulator uses guilt to pressure the victim into doing something they don't want to do. Imagine two co-workers. One has a heavy workload and is forced to work during a holiday. He asks his colleague to cancel his vacation and help out. When the colleague refuses, the manipulator says things like, "You're the only one I can count on and you're leaving me alone?" Or, "If I were in your place, I wouldn't hesitate to help you." This kind of emotional manipulation makes the victim feel responsible for the problem and compels them to give in, just to avoid feeling guilty or ashamed. Isolation. This strategy involves separating the victim from their social circles, friends, family, anyone who could support them. The manipulator wants the victim to rely solely on them, so they exaggerate minor conflicts or say things like, "They'll never understand you," or "They're the reason you're suffering." This method is common in pyramid schemes too. Scammers tell recruits their families won't understand and are holding them back from success. Gradually, the victim isolates themselves, ignores advice, and becomes more susceptible to manipulation. Love bombing. Here, the manipulator overwhelms the victim with fake affection and attention at the beginning of a relationship to build emotional dependency. For example, a woman meets a new guy, and right away he showers her with compliments, messages, gifts, and intense interest. While it seems positive, the real goal isn't love, it's control. If the victim doesn't realize this attention is fake, they may overlook red flags and start feeling the need to prove themselves constantly to keep receiving praise. Subtle criticism. This tactic lowers the victim's self-esteem through passive-aggressive comments. Imagine someone who performs excellently at work and asks for feedback. The manipulator responds, "Yeah, your work is great, but it would have been better if you did X or Y." The victim feels incomplete, constantly chasing validation from someone who only offers conditional praise. Playing the victim, the manipulator pretends to be the one who's hurt to gain sympathy and turn people against the real victim. For example, in a toxic relationship, when one partner expresses discomfort or confronts issues, the manipulator says things like, "I can't take this anymore. You're always making me feel like a failure," or "I try to fix things, but nothing's ever good enough for you." This reversal confuses the victim and puts them in a defensive position, often making them apologize and forget their original concern. Silent treatment. This technique involves cutting off all communication to punish the victim. The manipulator ignores messages, avoids conversations, and acts cold in social settings. Instead of addressing the issue, they choose silence, leaving the victim feeling anxious, rejected, and eager to fix things, often by apologizing or giving in. In short, it's a punishment tactic designed to train the victim on how to behave correctly. Projection. Rather than facing their own flaws, the manipulator blames others for the problems they refuse to acknowledge. For example, if someone has trust issues or anger problems, instead of dealing with them, they accuse others of being insecure or hot-headed. This way, they avoid responsibility and project their issues onto someone else. Fear-mongering manipulators use fear to control the victim by exaggerating threats or fabricating danger. Politicians often use this strategy to justify harsh policies, saying things like, "If we don't act now, the economy will collapse," or "If we don't do this, we'll have a civil war." By creating fear, they push people to accept actions they would normally reject. Triangulation. This involves bringing a third person into a two-person dynamic to create conflict or control. A manipulator might tell their partner, "Someone else said I looked really good today," just to spark jealousy. In a workplace, a boss might make vague threats like, "If anyone messes up, they'll be replaced," causing team members to compete or turn against each other. It's about creating tension to maintain control. Shaming. This tactic is used to humiliate the victim in front of others. Imagine a teacher calls a student to the board, and the student makes a mistake. Instead of offering help, the teacher mocks them. "Even the board is smarter than you," or "A donkey could solve this, what's your excuse?" Such public shaming destroys confidence and instills deep embarrassment. Flattery for manipulation, love bombing 2.0. The manipulator gives excessive compliments, not to build someone up, but to gain something in return. For instance, a coworker might say, "You're the best at this. I've tried to do it like you, but I just can't. Can you do it for me?" The praise is just bait to exploit the victim's skills and goodwill. Selective amnesia manipulators conveniently forget facts that don't serve them, while only remembering details that support their agenda. If a partner complains about toxic behavior, the manipulator might say, "But remember when I did this nice thing for you?" while completely ignoring the present problem, dodging accountability altogether. Creating dependency. This strategy makes the victim constantly reliant on the manipulator, emotionally, mentally, financially, or physically. For example, a partner might help with every little task so the other person never learns to be independent. Over time, the victim can't function without the manipulator's involvement, which deepens control.